Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. On the third day of a month-long monsoon session of Indian Parliament, the upper house will take up the Coastal Shipping Bill 2025 for consideration and passage. The bill to consolidate and amend the law relating to regulation of coastal shipping, promote coastal trade and encourage domestic participation. The National Sports Governance Bill 2025 will also be introduced in the lower house of the Parliament. The bill will provide for development of and promotion of sports, welfare measures for sportspersons. The National Anti-Doping Amendment Bill 2025 will be introduced in the House. The bill aims to amend the National Anti-Doping Act 2022. Now, Merchant Shipping Bill 2024 will also be taken up for consideration and passage. The bill will consolidate and amend the law relating to merchant shipping to ensure compliance with India's obligation under the maritime treaties and international instruments to which India is a party. Both houses of Indian Parliament faced major disruptions on Tuesday on the second day of the monsoon session amid opposition protests. We get you a detailed report.
Day 2 of the monsoon session of the Parliament in India faced a washout with continuous opposition disruption. The Parliament convened at 11 a.m. local time on Tuesday morning after facing repeated disruption on Monday. Despite the Speaker of the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman repeatedly asking House members to allow the House to function, the opposition continued their protest. The Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju also requested members to allow the House to function. He also said that the government had agreed to the demand of the opposition, but despite that, they are not allowing the House to function.
डिस्टर्ब करना ये तो बहुत आपत्तिजनक है और वो चर्चा मांग रहे हैं हम चर्चा के लिए तैयार हैं फिर ये सदन चलने नहीं देते हैं ये डबल स्टैंडर्ड बिल्कुल गलत बात है चर्चा चाहते हैं तो ये हंगामा मत करो सरकार ने बार-बार कहा है कि हम चर्चा करना चाहते हैं फिर ये हंगामा क्यों कर रहे हैं कौन जिम्मेदार लेगा देश का करोड़ों टैक्स मनी को आप लोग हंगामा करके बर्बाद कर रहे हैं जवाब देना पड़ेगा.
Following repeated protests, both the houses of the Parliament were adjourned at 2 p.m. local time for the day. 7 pending bills have been listed for consideration and passing, while 8 new bills have been listed for the introduction, consideration and passing. These are the Manipur Goods and Service Tax Amendment Bill and the Taxation Law Amendment Bill. The monsoon session will comprise a total of 21 sittings spread over 32 days and will conclude on August 21st. With inputs from Dibendu Mandal, Bureau Report, DD India.
The House stands adjourned to meet at 11 a.m.
Alright, our correspondent Dibendu Mandal is joining us from the national capital to get us more details on how do we expect the Parliament to function today. All right, Dibendu, I see you braving the rains today to give us more details on that. As you await clear weather, do we also expect such clarity or, clear proceedings today in both the houses?
Well, Preeti, good morning. This is indeed a monsoon session with heavy rains lashing the national capital since morning. So, of course, this rains is causing a stormy parliament session. The first 2 days of Parliament has been a complete washout, with the opposition parties continuing their disruptions and protests ever since the Parliament convened on Monday. The primary demand of the opposition parties in Parliament had been the fact that there should be a discussion on Operation Sindoor. The government's Business Advisory Committee of the Lok Sabha did agree to the fact that there would be 18 hours specially earmarked for discussion on Operation Sindoor, but despite that time being allocated, the Parliament's both the houses were disrupted even yesterday. Both the houses barely sat for 10 to 15 minutes in total yesterday because of continuous disruptions from the opposition benches. But having said this, there are multiple legislative businesses that are listed even for today. And in fact, ever since the beginning, there were multiple legislative businesses listed. But the Parliament was not being able to function because the opposition has been creating ruckus. But it will be interesting to see if, today the opposition lets the House function because the government is planning to bring up multiple bills even today, because yesterday also there were the shipping bill that was expected to be tabled in the Lok Sabha as well as in the Rajya Sabha, but however it didn't happen. It is expected that today the opposition could help the House function for some time. The government's Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju had been appealing to the opposition benches to let the House function and let the Parliament function with normalcy. But despite that, the opposition is relentless, and they are saying that their demand of the Prime Minister coming to the floor of the House and speaking on Operation Sindoor and several other important issues that the opposition are bringing up, according to them, they need an answer from the government. But it will be interesting to see if today's House functions smoothly, because the first 2 days have been a washout. Preeti.
2 days have been a washout, Dibyendu. We've just briefly mentioned the bills that will be taken up today in both the houses of Parliament. You get us more details, help us understand the significance of these bills.
Well, Preeti, there are some of these important bills. Is of course the Jan Vishwas bill that is expected to be tabled. The Lok Sabha, the Standing Committee have already tabled the taxation laws, taxation amendment law bill in the Parliament. But however, this did not also come up for discussion. The Lok Sabha did earmark about 10 hours for that particular bill. But despite, see, Preeti, there are multiple important bills which will help to, facilitate or help the ease of life of the people of this country. But if the Parliament doesn't function, and if the opposition doesn't let the Parliament function, it becomes extremely difficult for the government to bring up, and which is the reason the government has been trying to ensure that the Parliament or the House runs in order. And of course, these important legislations, as I said, like the Jan Vishwas, the shipping bill, which will help, the maritime sector has been an important key sector of this government that the government has been trying to, push forward, because trade comes through maritime. So therefore, these important bills will help the development and growth of the country. And the government is hoping that the Parliament functions well and these bills will sail through both the houses. Preeti.
All right, Dibyendu, we leave it here. Thank you so much for joining in with those details.